Max, I want to start with you on this one. What I do?
You want to start with me? Why?
I do. Not because you're
Toronto Raptors to get to the finals before the season started because I picked them in 6 games.
How many victories are going to take this morning?
Stop. Don't do that.
Wait, is that why?
No, let me tell you why. Because you did pick them to lose to Milwaukee. Stop.
Hold on.
You did do that.
Before the season started, I took them out of the East.
I understand that, though.
And then once they beat Milwaukee, I took them to win in 6 games.
All right.
What game did they win in?
Okay, all right. But you did pick them
before a game. Well, I choose not to say on that.
Exactly.
Guys, let's just all say it together and get it done with. Max, you were right. You were right, Max.
Hercules.
You were right.
Sometimes when you don't do your own horn, there's no music.
Max was right. All right.
Yes.
Can we start the debate now? Can I ask the question?
Sure.
Okay, thanks for hijacking that, guys. What did we learn about Steph Curry during these finals?
I didn't learn much. I knew that going into these finals. I keep telling people what it is. Like, I don't take any pleasure in saying that. Like, we're on national TV. A lot of people watch this show. You think I want to come out here and say something bad about someone?
I mean, you were crowned hater of the year.
Who seems like, that's Boston. That's different. That doesn't count. Of course I want to say bad things about Boston, but from New York. But you think I want to say something, and especially when it's stuff like how they handle pressure, because that starts to touch on or overlap with what's in someone's heart, their character, things like that. I don't want to touch that. About someone like Steph Curry, I don't want to touch that. It doesn't feel good to do it, but you got to tell the truth. If anything, what I learned, if I learned anything in these finals, is that Steph is coming along. He showed me stuff under pressure I haven't seen before. He dropped 47 when he didn't have Klay, and you needed offense from him. He had maybe the best game of his career, considering the circumstances, when you won Game 5, and he hit those big threes down the stretch. So that tells me Steph is coming along. But was I surprised he took the last shot and missed it? I knew he was going to miss the last shot.
Whoa.
I know. By the way, remember when I said with the fate of that, the last shot's not for him. He has not shown in his career that shot is for him in the finals. Maybe he will eventually because he can shoot it. But you know what? He shot 3 from 11 from 3 last night. Do you think he needed to hit some threes last night? Was that a good time to hit some threes? Or is it a good time to hit some threes when you got KD and Klay and Draymond and no one can beat you and everyone got their chest out? Then you can hit threes. But what about when your team needs it the most? Remember when I said Andre Iguodala, fate of the universe on the line, open shot? I want Iguodala taking that shot. You know what Iguodala shot last night? 22 points to Steph's 21. 3 for 6 from 3 versus 3 from 11 for 3. Better field goal percentage. I'm saying he's not the player Steph is, but with the money on the line, he's better. There's some players who stay the same under pressure, some players who get worse, some players who get better. Steph has been consistently throughout his career a lesser version of himself in the finals with the money on the line. I'm not making it up, and I don't like to say it, but the truth is the truth.
But numbers don't tell everything. I understand that he's 0 for 8. Get Up showed the stat this morning where he's 0 for 8 with the final shot, final 20 seconds, in the postseason. I said nobody in the last 20 seasons has missed more shots under that level of duress, meaning the waning final seconds or whatever the case may be. What I'm saying to you is this. It still doesn't take away from the fact that he's the greatest shooter we've ever seen. It still doesn't take away from the fact that he's a 3-time champion. It still doesn't take away from the fact that he did average 30 in these finals. I mean, it's not like he didn't show up. One of the things that I pulled up because obviously I covered, and the reason why I bring up Allen Iverson is because I covered Allen Iverson every day for the first 10 years of his career. I covered every game. When he went against the Lakers and he lost to the Lakers, he averaged 35.6 points. He had 48 in Game 1. He finished shooting 40% from the field and 28% from three-point range. What I'm trying to say is if you look at those numbers, you'll sit up there and say, volume. But if you watched Allen Iverson, the damn warrior that he is, you know that don't just judge it by the numbers. And so as a result, what do we often say? What do you often say about Allen Iverson? Pound for pound, what he is.
Inch for inch, best ever.
So in other words, you have to take into account the limitations. One of the reasons why we've judged, whether it's KD at one point in time, whether it's LeBron at another time or whatever, one of the reasons we judge them so harshly is because it's not just the skill set, but the level of physicality that they have that's to their advantage. If you are an undersized individual, the level of duress that's pointing in your direction, particularly in those waning moments, are very, very difficult to overcome. overcome physically. That's why, for example, we crucify the Portland Trailblazers for drafting Sam Bowie ahead of Michael Jordan. Do you notice no one has ever said a word about Akeem Olajuwon getting drafted ahead of Michael Jordan? Do you know why? Because you couldn't teach 7 feet. That's why. We knew he could ball. He was ultimately ended up being a 2-time champion. The 2 titles that Akeem the Dream Olajuwon won in his career was when Michael Jordan retired from baseball to 1 full season, and then he came back the second season with 17 games left. You can't teach 7 feet. You can't teach size. You can't teach girth. You can't teach those things. So when I look at a guy like Steph Curry, and I look at his greatness as a shooter, I also understand his limitations. You ain't going to be Kawhi. You ain't going to be KD. You ain't going to be LeBron or Anthony.
Did he have a look at 3 because he could shoot?
He did, yeah. But I'm just saying.
Didn't go in?
Yeah, all right. He missed that shot. But what I'm saying to
is that shot.
Well, again, but no, because that shot isn't always available. It was last night. But that shot isn't always available.
Have a good look.
And so all I'm trying to say to you is this. Let's pump the brakes on it. At the end of the day, we understand why the Warriors went into these NBA Finals as the reigning 2-time defending NBA champions. It was because of KD. If it wasn't for KD, they wouldn't have been the reigning 2-time defending NBA champions. We know that Steph is great. We know that he's the greatest shooter that I've ever seen. But in a certain respect, there are certain limitations that you are going to have when you are that guy playing in a league where you got great, phenomenal players, 6'7", 6'8", and above. That's just the way it goes.
I got to ask you, great basketball minds, a couple of questions based on what you said. So basically, you feel like Steph is a front runner.
I think Steph is not a clutch player on the level that some of the elite clutch players
But you were like, when they're down 12 or 10, he makes the shot.
I think that's right.
When the game is close, he doesn't make the shot.
Correct. I've noticed that. In the playoffs. Yeah, especially in the finals.
Who are you taking, AI or Steph Curry?
What do you need?
I need to win tomorrow. I need to win the game in the finals.
I need to win the game in the finals. I'm going with AI.